Therefore, the restraint to refrain from doing things is not there. May Allah Ta'ala bless us to be those people. And that was our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. That was our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. In the battlefield, he was a warrior. But in society, he was the shyest, most gentle person imaginable. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And so that's who the Muslim wants to be. A Muslim wants to be a person who cultivates prophetic character. And then form communities that push back against communities of corruption. And I don't mean the local neighborhood. I mean the people who are pulling the strings and calling the shots to introduce into the environment the things that pull people away from their nature. That pull people away from their true self. That instill in people ideas and concepts that are against the legacy of the prophets. This is what I'm talking about, pushing back against. May Allah bless us. In conclusion, I want to relate two sayings from two of our early predecessors. One, Wahb ibn Munabbih. Wahb, he said, who was a convert from Judaism. He said, Al-Imanu uryanun. Faith is naked. Al-Imanu uryanun. وَلِبَاسُهُ التَّقْوَى. Its clothing is righteousness. وَزِينَتُهُ الْحَيَاءُ. And its jewelry is shyness. وَمَالُهُ الْإِفَّةُ. And its wealth is self-restraint. That's the Muslim. That's the person of faith. A person who clothes himself or herself with piety. A person who adorns himself or herself with shyness, and a person who seeks their wealth through self-restraint. And then the saying of Al-Fudayl ibn Iyad, who was one of our great early sages, he says, خَمْسٌ مِنْ عَلَامَاتِ الشِّقْوَةِ. He said 5 characteristics are signs of people who are on a path to hell. May Allah, if they have these characteristics, take them off of that path. Al-qaswatu fil qalb. Hardness in the heart. A hard heart. And again, this environment that's being foisted upon people is encouraging them and cultivating them hardness of heart. The Prophet ﷺ had a soft heart. He said, Al-mu'min layyinun sahlun. A Muslim is gentle and easygoing. That's a believer. Is gentle, easygoing. Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So, al-qaswatu fil qalb, hardness of the heart. Wajumudul ayn, and frozen eyes. In other words, eyes that can't shed tears. And again, there's a lot of people out there that can't shed tears. We should cry for them, because it's not their fault. They didn't come into this world not able to shed tears. But what they were exposed to, which they should not have been exposed to in a sane society. What they have learned, which they should not have learned. The tools that they need to survive, which they should not have to utilize, have given their eyes the inability to shed tears. But a person of faith can shed tears. When the man came to the Prophet ﷺ, said he didn't kiss his children, the Prophet ﷺ said, then mercy's been taken out of your heart. The one who shows no mercy will be shown no mercy. So we want to be able to be merciful, to be able to cry, because our hearts are alive. And he said the third one, qillatul haya'i, a lack of shyness. Qillatul haya', a lack of shyness. So again, we want to try to cultivate shyness. And again, not to be pushovers, but to be people who have the ability to be restrained, because there are higher principles. There's a higher system of accountability that we respect. And that's our accountability before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he said, وَالرَّغْبَةُ فِي الدُّنْيَا, longing for the world. No, we should be telling people, you might end up being poor. But you don't have to be undignified because you're poor. Because you understand this world is not the end of everything. The akhirah is. That's what's called the akhirah, what comes at the end. This world is not the end. So you might be poor, but you can be poor with dignity. You can be poor knowing that the Prophet ﷺ was poor. And he loved the poor. And he prayed he was resurrected amongst the poor. But his poverty did not rob him of his dignity. And if we come together as a community, we can make sure everyone has dignity. We might not be able to make people rich, but we can give people dignity. And that's what we should aspire for, brothers and sisters. To dignify poverty. To dignify poverty. And if we find some ways to make folks rich, that's good too. But the nature of our times, people losing their jobs left and right, the economy being restructured in a way to take people's jobs. Structural unemployment. This is a reality of our time. So we're dealing with structures of oppression, structures of inequality, structures of economic disenfranchisement. And until those structures can be addressed, a lot of people are going to be poor. And so Islam should not seek to be the gospel of the rich, to deceive people. You come to Islam, you'll get rich. The Prophet didn't say that, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. A man came to him, said, "Oh Rasulullah, I want to follow you." Said it a couple times. What did the Prophet say to him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Prepare yourself for poverty. This is the gospel of the poor. This is the gospel of the poor. And people don't want that gospel spread. People they want the gospel of prosperity to be preached. Why? Because when the gospel of prosperity is being preached, people would be out killing each other to get their little bit. Killing each other to control the block so they can control the trade on the block. Killing each other for the jacket or the sweater so they can make believe they have what they don't have. That's a consequence of the gospel of prosperity being preached to poor people. They didn't want Aristide back in Haiti. Baby Doc could come back, that's fine. 25-year dictator, tear the country apart, line your pocket with the people's money, send out the Tonton Macoute killing people, death squad, fine. Come back, Baby Doc. They didn't want Aristide to come back because Aristide was preaching to the people the gospel of poverty. And he said his first interview, he said, "We know we can't make everyone rich, but we can make poor people dignified. We can make poor people dignified. We can make poor people satisfied with who they are because their connection with Allah Ta'ala is strong." He didn't say that, I'm saying that. Because their connection with Allah is strong. Because they know they're following the way of the Prophet ﷺ. Because they're content with the little they have. And contentment is the key to wealth. Contentment is the al-qana'a. Al-ghina fil-qana'a. Wealth is in contentment. I have a bicycle, I don't need a Lexus. The bike keeps me in shape. It's free. I can park anywhere for free. I don't have to worry about getting tickets all day, running back and forth to the meter all day. I don't contribute to the pollution and the global warming. So I like my bike. And so that person is wealthy because he has a bike, that's all he needs. He has his basic diet. He doesn't need ice cream. It's not good for you anyway. He doesn't need to splurge on the pizzas. He's got his brown rice. He's got his veggies. Get a piece of fish once in a while. Free-range halal chicken once in a while. That's all he needs. He's healthy. Doesn't overeat. Doesn't have to count his calories. They're already counted. He's rich. She's rich. She has dignified clothes, 3 or 4 outfits. They're clean, neat, no rips, no tear. Got a good iron, works real good. Steam comes out. Clothes always neat, well pressed. That's all she needs. She's rich. She doesn't need to go to Macy's every week to buy the latest thing. She doesn't need a summer, winter, spring, and fall outfit. There's only 2 seasons in the Bay Area. Why you need 4 outfits? Why you need a fall outfit? There's no fall. There's winter, there's summer. That's it. Why you need a spring and a fall outfit? Because someone programmed your head. And now you think I'm poor because I can't go spring shopping. Said there's no spring in the Bay. La ilaha illallah. She's rich. She's rich. That's what we have to teach the people. Because this madness will destroy us. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم. And the 5th, طول الأمل. So that was the 4th. الرغبة في الدنيا. Longing for the world. The 5th, طول الأمل. طول الأمل, having long hopes, which means procrastinating doing right. Oh, I got tomorrow. I'll go to Hajj when I'm old. I'll wear hijab when I get married. I'll do this. I'll start praying 5 times a day when I retire because my job, it would be kind of embarrassing. I have to do dhuhr on the job. I'll do them when I get home. You might not get home. You might end up driving off the Bay Bridge. It's happened before. It's happened before. You might be number 2. You don't know if you're going to get home. The tragic story of the doctor. We were out searching for her in Oakland and think maybe some disgruntled patient had killed her, the Muslim sister. It ended up in the fog. She drove off the dock in Alameda. She never came home that night. May Allah bless her soul. Amen. And may Allah elevate her place in Jannah. Amen. And may Allah reward her for all the service. She was loved. When the brothers and sisters are out marching down in Fruitvale, people from the community were coming out because they loved that sister. She give you free checkup, free medicine. But the point is, she never made it home that night. We can't assume I'll do all my prayers when I get home. You might not get home. There's no guarantee. May Allah Ta'ala bless all of us to get home, to our real home. Amen. All of us to get safely home. May Allah bless all of us to return to the home of Jannah. Inna Darul Akhirah. The home of the hereafter. That's our real home. May Allah Ta'ala bless us to be content. May Allah bless us with shyness. And the real shyness that doesn't prevent us from speaking truth when the situation calls for it. From giving true witness when the situation calls for it. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المؤمنين يا قوم استغفروا الله. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وكونوا مع الصادقين. Yeah, all you believers, be mindful of Allah and keep yourself with the truthful. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. Therefore, the restraint to refrain from doing things is not there. May Allah Ta'ala bless us to be those people. And that was our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. That was our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. In the battlefield, he was a warrior. But in society, he was the shyest, most gentle person imaginable. To introduce into the environment the things that pull people away from their nature. That pull people away from their true self. That instill in people ideas and concepts that are against the legacy of the prophets. This is what I'm talking about, pushing back against. May Allah bless us. In conclusion, I want to relate two sayings from two of our early predecessors. One, Wahb ibn Munabbih. Wahb, he said, who was a convert from Judaism. He said, Al-Imanu uryanun. Faith is naked. Al-Imanu uryanun. وَلِبَاسُهُ التَّقْوَى. Its clothing is righteousness. وَزِينَتُهُ الْحَيَاءُ. And its jewelry is shyness. وَمَالُهُ الْإِفَّةُ. And its wealth is self-restraint. That's the Muslim. That's the person of faith. A person who clothes himself or herself with piety. A person who adorns himself or herself with shyness. Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And so that's who the Muslim wants to be. A Muslim wants to be a person who cultivates prophetic character. And then form communities that push back against communities of corruption. And I don't mean the local neighborhood. I mean the people who are pulling the strings and calling the shots.